Today I have two things that I'm very excited about. One of them is the fact that it is finally outdoor unboxing season again. That makes me very, very happy. I'm here in my t-shirt, I'm outside, I'm on the bench, I'm unboxing products. The other one is the product I am unboxing today. This is an awesomely, excitingly, fantastically, uberly sweetness product that I will be checking out today. The first time I saw this was at CES 2011. This is the MSI GTX 580 Lightning. It uses 16 power phases, which is 4 times more than a reference 570 and twice and some, 2.66 times more than a reference 580. It has triple over voltage, which means that using MSI Afterburner, you can overvolt 3 different aspects of the card. You have the Twin Frozer 3 cooler, okay? It's ready for 3D Mark 11, which basically I guess means it's DirectX 11, which it bloody well better be since it's a 580. It uses the Military Class 2 concept. We have support for MSI Afterburner, GeForce CUDA, SLI Physics, and 3D Vision. Don't forget, also NVIDIA Surround if you run 2 of these suckers. All right, also inside here we find some more information. So Power 4 architecture, the most powerful power system on GTX 580. Tremendous power to the GPU memory and PLL for overclocking to unleash the potential. Okay, 16-phase power design. Oh, I'm sorry, the reference one apparently has 8, although my quick Google before starting this indicated 6. So maybe you guys can leave some comments and tell me which one is correct. Independent memory power. Looks like this card is going to require dual 8-pin connectors. Pro-Adalyzer, okay. Features its incredible capacitance and crazy low ESR compared to solid caps. Interesting. Okay. Copper MOS compared to traditional MOSFETs. Super ferrite chokes, highly conductive capacitors. These are the ones with the tantalum core, solid caps, okay? So all of that good military class 2 stuff. Lightning power layer, sweet. Okay, so unique PCB design for the GPU memory and power layer, increases power supply stability and eliminates power noise, meaning ripple. Interesting. All right. So, this is one of the few video cards where there's actually enough for them to talk about that they managed to cover this whole thing with completely unique stuff. So, dual 9cm PWM fans, nickel-plated copper base, high-density fins, this is all about the cooler, propeller blades, which we've seen debut on the GTX 550 Ti, that was the Cyclone, okay? Super pipe technology, which means thick heat pipes, and let's see if there's anything else on the back. Finally, no, there is not. So it uses 1.5 gigs of memory like a standard GTX 580, and unless you're talking like big surround resolutions, really that's enough. So we got the card, ooh, check this out. Okay, so the first accessory I'm gonna show you guys, these are V-checks, so you can use these to check the voltage to various parts of your GTX 580 Lightning. So this is a feature we've seen on many MSI motherboards in the past, but very few graphics cards. We've got a couple 6-pin to 8-pin PCIe adapters, but honestly, if you're not using a proper power supply and you're trying to run a beast card like this, you're probably doing it wrong. Okay, next we have a DVI to VGA adapter, also for people who are doing it wrong. And finally, we have some other stuff down here, which is probably mostly irrelevant. Look at that. Massive SLI bridges. Okay, MSI Afterburner. We got a quick user's guide as well as whatever this is. Okay. So let's go ahead, put that back on there, and let's get this card out of the packaging so we can see it. Okay. Pretty heavy, I'll tell you guys that so far, although I haven't been able to have a close look at it yet, so I can't really say much else about the card itself, other than that it is heavy, and that it comes in an anti-static bag. All right, beast, love it. Okay, so why don't we start with the inputs and outputs. The first thing you're gonna notice is the gold accents on these DVI ports, HDMI port, and yeah, check that out, display port. So this is a completely custom PCB, if you didn't figure that out already, featuring non-standard display layout. So instead of a mini HDMI, we have a full-size HDMI and a display port to go along with it. We've got a half of a vent, but that's not really going to matter too much because if you look at the overall design of the cooler, it's quite open, so it's going to exhaust a lot of air inside the case as opposed to being completely external exhaust. Mind you, if you were planning to install something like this in your system and you don't have a well ventilated case already, you're probably doing it wrong. So okay, that pretty much covers the back here. So why don't we move along to sort of the bottom. So we've got our standard PCIe 16X interface here. We've got some super pipes, so you can see right there, this one and this one are both substantially larger than the standard heat pipes. So those are the ones that are carrying the heat furthest away from the GPU, which is clearly right about here. So over here and way out to the other side, so that they transport the heat faster to the areas that are further away from the GPU core itself. You can see the dense fin structure. I'm going to spin these fans. Yeah, I know you're not supposed to. Dense fin structure here gives it a ton of surface area to dissipate heat. This is a monster cooler, but MSI has managed to still maintain a dual slot profile rather than increasing it to triple slot like we've seen on some of the aftermarket coolers on GF110 based cards. You've got the dual 92mm propeller blade fans, so you can see the blades of the fans are slightly different from what we've seen on previous aftermarket MSI coolers, and they claim up to 20% more airflow using this blade design versus a similar RPM on a more conventional blade design. It's got a really cool looking shroud that we're pretty used to seeing on Twin Frozer branded cards, but I really like it, so I'll talk about it some more. All right, we've got a unisync. So you can see there is a black unisync that is making contact with the VRM. It looks to be making contact with the memory as well. You've got, yeah, you can see a thermal interface pad right there between the memory as well as this unisync. So that's going to be getting a lot of direct cooling from the fans here, as well as being a passive cooler just by making contact with those components and by being a nice big surface area, because you can see that unisync is way over here, it's here, it's here, it's way up here, just massive. Now, not only that, but it's also going to provide more rigidity to the card. So you can see this metal piece is actually right along the card here and stretches all the way back to the back. What that means is once you install this in your case, you know how you see guys with high-end systems, they got their card installed and it like droops down like this? Well, with this card, it's actually very, very difficult to flex the PCB because of all of the metal structure there is to it all along the length of the card. Okay, you can see out the back here, we've got a 4-pin PWM setup that is running both of those fans. So those fans are just spliced together right about here. Okay, so both of them are running off of the same header. We've got you can see kind of the back of the cooler. That's kind of irrelevant. Oh yeah, the dual 4-pin power connectors. So the dual 4-pin power connectors are up here. This is where you're getting all your power. Unlike the GTX 480 Lightning, there are only 2 as opposed to 3 of them. So it's a little bit less ludicrous in terms of the power supply that's required to run this guy. But that's to be expected, as GF110 is a more efficient chip than GF100. Here we have those V-check points. So you can use those to monitor the voltage to the GPU, the memory, as well as the PLL. You've also got a BIOS switch. It has 2 settings. Now, we're used to seeing these on AMD cards from the last generation or so, but this is the first time I've seen it on a GeForce-based card. So you can see there's a liquid nitrogen 2 setting, optimized for LN2, and then there's an original setting. We've also got some V switches. So this is for memory, this is for PWM clock tuner, PLL, and OCP unlocker. So we've got onboard switches. These are all covered in tape, but you can change the values if you desire. Okay, what else is there to say about this? Yes, SLI finger. So this should pretty much reveal why it comes with its own SLI bridges. The reason is that normal SLI bridges would be blocked by the unisync here, as well as all of the structural nonsense that, well, not nonsense, it's good nonsense that goes on with this card. So that's why you need a long SLI bridge. So you can plug this in, make it up over this stuff, and then reach the next over card. You know what? I think that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Oh, we've got some like LEDs on the back, so those probably are for power phase indication or something along those lines. Crazy Russians indicating something to me. Oh, here's something. Extreme Cool 1 and Extreme Cool 2. We've got some more switches over here. So maybe you guys can leave some comments about what that one is, because that's not something that I'm familiar with, and I did not see it outlined on the packaging, so I don't know what that particular switch is for. So just want to have a look at the back. Okay, we'll give you one more kind of overall view of the card, switch it back around to the front. So thank you for checking out this unboxing of the GTX 580 Lightning from MSI. Don't forget to subscribe to Linus Tech Tips for more unboxings, reviews, computer videos, and all kinds of other random things, whatever I feel like uploading, I suppose. Okay, Crazy Russian told me what he was gesturing about. He was gesturing about the fact that the PCB is taller than a standard video card PCB. This is the normal height. This is how tall a Lightning PCB is. So this card is physically taller than most cards. Sorry about that, Crazy Russian. I misunderstood what you were saying because you speak with an accent.
Story of my life.